What if I told you that most people alive today are either infected with a parasite or in very close contact with an infected person and/or animal? It sounds like the plot of a generic horror movie, but it's in fact the truth. And in this video, I'll try to show some of the proof available online today. I'm talking about parasites, and more specifically the Chagas parasite, Trypanosoma cruzi, and Toxoplasma gondii. The original AIDS epidemic was caused by T. cruzi, and the so-called Rona is a modified T. cruzi. For Rona specifically, the particles they look at and call viruses are stress proteins created by a body that's either infected with parasites or exposed to toxins. They are exosomes, not viruses. T. cruzi causes AIDS in every animal, and of course they call it a slightly different name, but it's up to you to connect the dots, and it's being done here for you. T. cruzi is everywhere right now, found in 80% of randomly tested guinea pigs, 80% of raccoons, 77% of Argentinian goats, 30 to 60% wild deer, 40% wild pigs, 80% of chickens, and so on. It's the number one cause of heart failure. Whilst it's commonly thought to be spread through ticks, beetles, and so on, the reality is that it only accounts for less than 10% of the spread. Most outbreaks are linked to contaminated food and contaminated beverages, and right after it comes sexual transmission. It is the most versatile pathogen to ever exist, yet the official narrative regards it as rare, non-sexually transmitted, despite being found in the semen of every animal tested, and only spread by a single beetle. All species of Trypanosoma are given different names based on the host they are found in, but every species is cross-contagious with every other host, i.e., if you take the chicken version and put it in a human, it will follow the same life cycle as if it came from a shellfish or a cow. The eggs, which are basically indestructible, are identical in every species, along with the larval form. The adult form changes slightly depending on the host, kind of like the alien facehugger, it changes depending on the host. The disease is called Nagana in cows, Durin in horses, but in reality it's the same species, structurally and morphologically identical. A multi-trillion-dollar cover-up that allows big agriculture to breed resistant cattle that won't die from the infection, rather than doing constant and expensive deworming treatments. This has been known forever. On top of this, pretending all our problems are caused by secondary infections of virus and bacteria instead of parasites allows big pharma to generate trillions by treating the second symptoms of the infections that arise when immunocompromised. A person can live with it for over 50 years and never get rid of it. It doesn't kill you, it weakens you, and when you are old and weak, it causes secondary infections that will kill you. Tests can yield false negatives, and it's difficult to detect. Most cases are only identified after death. The whole issue is compounded by the fact that doctors are trained to believe that it is exceedingly rare, and the mix of indoctrination and narcissistic personality profile usually means a person is steered away from such treatments. Well, how can you know that Rona is modified T. cruzi? Rona strips iron off hemoglobin much like the malaria parasite. This is a very complex task that requires the production of enzymes to digest the alpha chains. Enzymes are larger and more complex than a virus. The virus is analogous to a knife. The enzyme is analogous to a bomb. A parasite is analogous to a factory. A virus would have no reason or ability to do this. Parasites like Chagas, on the other hand, are known to strip iron and use it to hyperaccelerate their growth. Both Rona and Chagas cause macrophage confusion, CD4 dysfunction, and the result is endocarditis as the macrophages target the ACE2 receptors of epithelial cells that have S1 spike proteins stuck in them. A problem worsened by the vaccine. Rona and HIV are the only pathogens that contain S1 spike protein, a 4-letter gene sequence patented by Pfizer in 1998. It's not a coincidence. They're the same thing, though Rona has been gain of function significantly. Long haul Rona is extremely similar to the AIDS progression. The reason ADE reactions occur is that the antibodies that your body produces post-vaccine don't stick to parasites, so they end up circulating and causing acidic damage to every organ instead. The Rona version seems able to survive on dry surfaces for days instead of minutes, a major change, but otherwise it's pretty much the same progression. Let's state some more facts. Despite there existing a recommended parasite schedule for every species we come in direct contact with, there exists no recommended parasite treatment schedule for humans. The push to demonize and take off the market effective treatments has been ongoing since well before 2020, and the ivermectin and NAC-psyops are good examples. Or remember absinthe, one of the main ingredients is wormwood, a potent parasite killer. Humans are among the very few species that don't produce their own vitamin C, and the stated requirements are much lower than what your average animal produces by comparison. Is vitamin C necessary for a healthy immune system? Which is the only mammal incapable of producing its own vitamin C? What is hypoascorbemia? If humans cannot produce vitamin C, would humans be more susceptible to parasite infection than any other mammal? If humans are more susceptible to parasite infection than all other mammals, then why are humans the only mammal which is not given a schedule for routine treatment of parasites? Does vitamin C deficiency result in depression, schizophrenia, other psychiatric disorders, gastrointestinal disease, fatigue, death, and cancer? Are these the symptoms of the vitamin deficiency, or are these the symptoms of a vitamin deficient immune system which results in rapidly multiplying parasites? What's the real cause of depression, schizophrenia, these other disorders, and so on? Why is alcohol so fervently pushed upon society? Does alcohol prevent the body's absorption of vitamin C? If a mammal is unable to produce their own vitamin C, and that mammal is given a substance which prevents the body's absorption of vitamin C, will the mammals suffer from a dramatically compromised immune system? Would parasite thrive in such a host? What's the real purpose for promoting alcohol consumption? Is the sugar industry highly subsidized? Do parasites require a continually high diet of sugar? More specifically, do parasites rely on aerobic glycolysis? Are parasites incapable of surviving on fats? Did the sugar industry pay to trick us into thinking that fat was the cause of ill health? Did this deceptive tactic dramatically reduce fat consumption while also increasing sugar consumption? What effect would this have on parasites infecting human hosts? What's the real purpose of sugar subsidies? Is promiscuity shamelessly pushed upon society? Can parasites be sexually transmitted? Are excipients placed in toxins that help intrabodily objects to cross the blood-brain barrier? Are parasites intrabodily objects? Are adjuvants placed in toxins that help intrabodily objects to cross the blood-brain barrier? Why do parasites need access to human brains? Can parasites lobotomize their host and turn them into living zombies? Why lobotomize the hosts? Does the lobotomy allow a parasite to influence the hosts to spread parasites to other hosts? What happens when parasites enter the brain of a host? Can the brain be damaged to influence human behavior? Can the brain be damaged to limit human cognitive abilities? What's an NPC? Do humans have a second brain? What's the enteric nervous system, and where are parasites most commonly found? Can parasites residing in the gut influence behavior? What's a gut instinct? What's the subconscious? How can the subconscious be influenced? Can parasites change human personality? Why influence host personality? Why influence host behavior? The end goal of a parasite is not to kill the host, but to spread more parasites to more hosts. I will stop here for now, as I can understand this is a lot of information to take in all at once, but it should be enough to let you connect all the dots on your own. I'll leave you with one last tidbit. Do you know another one of parasites' major enemies? Sunlight. Godspeed, boys.